This place was safe once. Children's laughter, towers of blocks, a mother's fight to keep the light on. Promises of stars delivered in shadows. And now, the storm is inside. Welcome. This is Sofia's story.
Hi, welcome to Midnight Tale Chronicles. Today, I'm taking you into a story that's equal parts passion and peril. This is Sofia's world, where dreams meet shadows. Grab your headphones, turn down the lights, and let's begin.
The neon glow of Hollywood Boulevard pulsed like a heartbeat, casting shimmering reflections on rain-slicked sidewalks. Sofia Ramirez navigated the crowded streets with the grace of someone who had learned to blend in, her dark curls bouncing under a wide-brimmed hat. At 30, she carried the weight of her Colombian roots in every step, a vibrant energy that had drawn her to Los Angeles 5 years ago, chasing the elusive dream of stardom. Back in Bogota, she had been a theater student, performing in small venues where applause echoed off crumpling walls. Now, in the City of Angels, she auditioned for bit parts in indie films and commercials. Her twins, Isabella and Mateo, her anchors in this glittering chaos. Sofia's condo in the Hollywood Hills was a modest sanctuary, perched on a winding road with views of the sprawling city below. The twins, 4 years old and full of boundless curiosity, filled the space with their laughter. Isabella loved drawing fantastical creatures on the walls, using crayons to create worlds of dragons and princesses. Mateo, more introspective, built towers from colorful blocks, his small brows furrowed in concentration. Sofia worked odd jobs, waitressing at a trendy cafe on Sunset Strip by day, rehearsing lines by night to keep them fed and clothed. Her friends in the community theater group admired her resilience. She was the one who organized potlucks, bringing Colombian arepas to share, and encouraged others during the inevitable rejections that came with the industry. But beneath her warm smile lurked shadows that few saw. Diego Lopez entered her life like a storm, sweeping in with promises and peril. A 32-year-old nightclub promoter with sharp features, tattooed arms, and a charisma that commanded rooms. He had underground connections that whispered of shady deals in VIP lounges, rumors of drug runs and money laundering that Sofia chose to ignore at first. They met at a casting after-party 2 years earlier, where his promises of introductions to producers swept her off her feet. "I'll make you a star, mi reina," he said, his eyes locking on hers. At first, it was passionate, late-night dances in hidden clubs, whispered dreams under starlit skies overlooking the ocean. Passion curdled into possession as months passed. Diego's jealousy flared at every audition callback, every male co-star she mentioned. "You're mine, Sofia," he'd growl, his grip tightening on her arm until bruises bloomed like dark flowers under her sleeves. She hid them with makeup, smiling through photo shoots. The first assault came after a late rehearsal for a pilot episode. Sofia arrived home excited, script in hand. Diego, waiting in the dark living room, accused her of flirting with the director. "You think I'm stupid?" His fist connected with her jaw in a blur, sending her sprawling. Stars danced in her vision as she tasted blood.
Trembling, she drove to the LAPD station that night, filing a report with a sympathetic officer who noted the swelling. "You need to get out," the officer advised, but fear gnawed at her. Diego threatened to fight for custody, claiming her immigrant status, her green card still pending full citizenship, made her unstable. "The courts will see you're unfit, an outsider," he'd sneer, his words cutting deeper than any blow. Sofia withdrew the report days later, hoping mandated therapy sessions would change him. They attended a few, but Diego charmed the counselor, downplaying incidents as misunderstandings. The violence escalated subtly at first, slaps turning to punches, isolation from friends by monitoring her phone. He installed apps to track her location, questioning every outing. Sofia confided in her agent, Carla Ruiz, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s with a Rolodex of industry contacts. Over coffee at a quiet diner, Sofia whispered her truths. "He's controlling everything. I can't breathe." Carla's eyes hardened. "You're stronger than this, Sofia. For the kids, document everything. Texts, photos of bruises. We'll get you help." By early 2028, Sofia's resolve hardened like steel forged in fire. The twins deserved better than witnessing their mother's tears or hearing muffled arguments through thin walls. She saved money from tips, stashed in a hidden envelope under the mattress. Secret meetings with a pro bono lawyer from an immigrant aid organization outlined the divorce process, gathering evidence, filing for sole custody based on abuse history. "You have a strong case," the lawyer assured her. Sofia also reached out to a domestic violence shelter, attending group sessions where women shared similar tales, empowering her. On a foggy February morning, she served the papers at Diego's Club, a pulsating venue called Eclipse in downtown LA. Her hands steady despite the pounding in her chest, she handed him the envelope in his office, surrounded by stacks of flyers and empty bottles. "It's over, Diego. Sign it." His face contorted, veins bulging, but he scrawled his name with a forced smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You'll regret this, Sofia. No one leaves me." That evening, the condo felt alive with possibility for the first time in months. Sofia tucked the twins into bed, their room adorned with posters of animated heroes. She read them a story about brave explorers crossing oceans, her voice animated. Isabella yawned, clutching her stuffed llama, a gift from Abuela in Colombia. "Mama, will we go on adventures like that?" Sofia kissed her forehead, inhaling the scent of baby shampoo. "Soon, mi amor. Big ones, with beaches and mountains." Mateo snuggled closer, his small hand in hers, thumb in mouth. "Promise?" "Promise," she whispered, her heart swelling. As the children drifted off, Sofia prepared for her audition the next day, a supporting role in a thriller about a woman escaping her past, ironically fitting. She practiced lines in the mirror, her reflection showing a woman reclaiming her fire, lines around her eyes from stress, but determination shining through. She texted Carla, "Papers served, feeling free." Carla replied with thumbs-up emojis and "proud of you."
Midnight brought silence to the hills, broken only by distant sirens and the occasional hoot of an owl. Sofia sipped chamomile tea in the living room, flipping through the script, highlighting her parts. A knock echoed, insistent, urgent. Peering through the peephole, she saw Diego, his face twisted in rage, fog swirling around him like smoke. "We need to talk," he called, voice slurred. Against her better judgment, she cracked the door, chain still latched. "Not now. The kids are sleeping. Leave." He shoved the door, snapping the chain with surprising force. Sofia stumbled back as he barged in. "You think you can just walk away, take my children from me?" His voice rose, echoing off the walls adorned with family photos. Sofia backed toward the kitchen, heart racing like a trapped bird. "Get out, Diego. It's done. The lawyer has everything." He lunged, grabbing her throat with calloused hands. She clawed at his arms, nails digging into skin, gasping for air. "Please, the twins, they'll hear!" The struggle intensified. Sofia kicked at his shins, knocking over a lamp that shattered on the floor. Diego released her throat, only to pull a knife from his jacket pocket, a switchblade he always carried for protection in his line of work. The blade clicked open, flashing in the dim light from the window. "You forced this," he hissed. Sofia's eyes widened in terror as she reached for a vase, smashing it against his shoulder. Shards flew, but it only enraged him further. The knife plunged into her chest, once, twice, hot pain exploding through her body. Blood bloomed on her white blouse, soaking through. She slumped against the wall, sliding down, her vision blurring, her last breath a ragged whisper. "Mis hijos, protect them, my children." Diego stood over her, chest heaving, the knife dripping in his hand.
Reality crashed in waves, the metallic scent of blood, the stillness of her body. Panic flickered in his eyes, then cold resolve replaced it. He couldn't let this ruin his empire, his life. Dropping the knife, he dragged her body to the bedroom, away from the twins' door to avoid waking them. He stripped the king-size bedsheets from their bed, wrapping her tightly in layers, the fabric muffling any residual sound. Blood had stained the carpet in a dark pool. He scrubbed it hastily with bathroom towels, stuffing the soiled ones into a garbage bag. Hoisting the heavy bundle over his shoulder, he staggered to the front door, muscles straining. The condo complex was quiet at that hour, fog cloaking his movements in a ghostly veil. A neighbor's dog barked from behind a fence, but no lights flicked on. In the underground parking garage, Diego loaded the bundle into his black SUV's trunk, slamming it shut with a thud that echoed slightly. He drove into the night, headlights cutting through mist-shrouded streets, heading north toward Griffith Park. The vast expanse, with its miles of hiking trails, iconic observatory, and hidden ravines, drew tourists by day for panoramic views. By night, its isolated spots had hidden darker secrets, bodies from gang hits, suicides.
He parked on a secluded turnout off a fire road, the city lights twinkling below like a sea of diamonds. Switching off the engine, he listened for any sounds, nothing but wind rustling leaves. Dragging the bundle through dense underbrush, thorns snagging the sheets and scratching his arms, he reached a steep drop-off overlooking a dry creek bed. With a final grunt of effort, he shoved it over the edge. It tumbled down the incline, crashing into rocks and vanishing in the shadows amid chaparral bushes. Sofia Ramirez, the dreamer who crossed oceans for a better life, reduced to an abandoned form in the wilderness. Diego wiped sweat from his brow, drove back, arriving home before dawn. Inside, he checked on the twins, still asleep, faces peaceful in slumber. He showered, scrubbing away evidence, then burned the garbage bag in the complex dumpster, flames licking the night. Morning came with feigned normalcy. He dropped Isabella and Mateo at daycare, kissing their cheeks. "Mama's on a trip," he lied smoothly when they asked. At the club, he buried himself in work, crafting alibis in his mind, texting associates for cover stories. But cracks appeared quickly. Sofia missed her audition. Carla, her agent, called repeatedly, leaving voicemails filled with concern. "Sofia, call me back. This isn't like you." By afternoon, worried, she drove to the condo, finding Diego there. "Where is she?" Carla demanded. Diego shrugged. "She left last night, said she needed space." Unsatisfied, Carla filed a missing person report at the Hollywood police station. "She's not the type to vanish without word. Check her ex, Diego Lopez, history of abuse." LAPD detectives, a seasoned pair named Ramirez, no relation, and Lee arrived at the condo that evening. Diego opened the door, eyes red as if from crying, acting the worried fiancé. "Officers, thank God you're here. Sofia's gone." He spun his first tale. "She was kidnapped, maybe rivals from my club. She mentioned threats recently." The detectives exchanged subtle glances, noting no signs of forced entry, the faint bleach smell lingering in the bedroom, a freshly scrubbed spot on the carpet that looked suspicious. As questions intensified over coffee at the kitchen table, Diego's stories unraveled like cheap thread. Next, he claimed she ran off with a lover from her theater group. "She's impulsive like that, always chasing dreams." When pressed for names, he faltered. Then a third version emerged. "An accident. She fell hiking in Griffith Park yesterday. I was going to report it." No evidence supported any claim. No hospital records, no witnesses. Detectives subpoenaed phone records. Incriminating texts from Sofia to Carla revealed her fears. "Diego's unstable. If anything happens to me, it's him." The breakthrough came from everyday technology. A neighbor 2 doors down had a Ring camera angled toward the parking lot entrance. Reviewing footage, detectives saw the grainy clip from midnight. Diego struggling with a large sheet-wrapped object, its weight causing him to stumble before heaving it into his SUV.
The timestamp matched Sofia's last known phone activity, a text to a friend. "That's no laundry," Detective Ramirez muttered. The case escalated to Homicide Division. LAPD mobilized helicopters equipped with thermal imaging cameras, scouring Griffith Park's 4,000 acres of rugged terrain. Ground teams hiked ravines, canine units sniffed for human remains, volunteers from local search groups joined the effort. Meanwhile, Diego sensed the net tightening. He withdrew thousands in cash from ATMs, abandoned his SUV in a crowded downtown parking lot, and fled to Las Vegas, a 4-hour drive through desert highways. Holding up in a seedy motel off the Strip, he dyed his hair, grew a beard, and watched news coverage on a flickering TV. Media frenzy erupted. Headlines like "Aspiring Actress Vanishes, Fiancé Prime Suspect?" Networks aired Sofia's headshots, her story resonating with immigrant communities across the state. Protests formed outside LAPD headquarters, demonstrators holding signs, "Justice for Sofia," and "End domestic violence now." On the third day of intensive searches, a helicopter pilot spotted an anomaly during a low pass over a remote ravine. A white bundle caught in thick brush midway down a 200-foot drop. Ground teams rappelled down with harnesses, hearts heavy with anticipation. Unwrapping the sheets carefully, they revealed Sofia's body, stab wounds evident on her torso, rigor mortis set in. The medical examiner's autopsy later confirmed multiple lacerations to vital organs, defensive cuts on her arms and hands indicating a fight. The sheets matched fiber samples from the condo bedding. DNA analysis sealed the connection, Diego's skin cells under her nails from the struggle. With the body recovered, charges were filed in absentia, first-degree murder with special circumstances for lying in wait and use of a deadly weapon. Interpol issued a red notice alerting international borders. Diego's face was plastered on airport screens, highway billboards, and social media campaigns. In Vegas, he ventured out for food, paranoia mounting as strangers glanced his way. Old associates, pressured by police, turned him in anonymously after spotting him at a low-stakes casino table. SWAT surrounded the motel at dawn, megaphones blaring. "Diego Lopez, come out with hands up." He emerged, palms raised, expression defeated. "I didn't mean to kill her," he mumbled as cuffs clicked, led away in a flurry of flashes from gathered press. Extradited back to California within days, he was arraigned in a packed courtroom, pleading not guilty. The trial unfolded in downtown LA's Superior Court, a media spectacle drawing reporters from national outlets. Prosecutors painted a damning portrait of systematic control, years of documented assaults, witness testimonies from Sofia's theater friends who recalled seeing bruises, Carla on the stand recounting confidential conversations. "She was terrified but determined to escape for her twins," Carla said, voice steady despite tears. Sofia's journal, seized from the condo, was read aloud, entries detailing threats, isolation, her plans to flee. "I came to America for freedom, not chains," one passage noted. Defense attorneys argued crime of passion, a momentary lapse triggered by divorce stress, but evidence overwhelmed. The premeditated alibis, the calculated disposal, forensic matches. The immigrant angle amplified the proceedings. Sofia's journey from Colombia, leaving family for opportunity, highlighted systemic vulnerabilities, language barriers in reporting abuse, fear of deportation affecting custody battles. Expert witnesses from advocacy groups testified on these issues, broadening the narrative. The jury, diverse like LA itself, deliberated for 2 tense days. Verdict: guilty on all counts. Sentencing followed swiftly. Death row eligibility due to aggravating factors, though California's moratorium on executions meant life in prison likely. Diego stared blankly as the gavel fell, the courtroom erupting in sobs from Sofia's supporters and cheers from activists outside. In the aftermath, Sofia's Colombian family, her mother and sister, flew in, funded by community donations, to take custody of the twins. The reunion at the airport was bittersweet, hugs amid tears. Isabella and Mateo, resilient yet scarred, adapted to new lives, therapy helping process their loss. Sofia's theater friends, honoring her spirit, founded the Sofia Ramirez Foundation. It provided legal aid, shelters, and workshops for immigrant women escaping abuse, partnering with organizations like the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Fundraisers featured performances of her favorite plays, raising thousands. Vigils lit the Hollywood Hills annually on the anniversary, candles flickering like stars against the night sky. Sofia's story, once a private tragedy, became a catalyst for change, reminding the city that even in its shadows, voices could rise unbroken. The twins grew, Isabella channeling creativity into painting, Mateo into storytelling, echoes of their mother's dreams enduring. Los Angeles, with its endless nights and promises, moved on, but her legacy lingered, a beacon for those still fighting.